الله وصلى على رسول الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I hope you all can hear me. Are you all hearing me clear?
So far.
Okay. Alhamdulillah, all praise is due to Allah, who has enabled us to assemble for this class in the digital environment. Of course, everyone will know about the demise of our brother Nishon, a very hardworking brother, dedicated brother who, of course, would have contributed to many activities, many in various Jamaats, across Trinidad. And, he has preceded us in returning to Allah, and we all have to make that journey, one day. We ask Allah that He have mercy on him, forgive him, make his stay in Barzakh an easy one, resurrect him on the day of judgment, with his face beaming and his receiving his account in his right hand. We are feeling his loss directly in his class, in that, he was such an integral part of the class from ever since the beginning, when we had the first iteration of the class in the masjid. Then we stopped for a while and then we restarted. Then of course we went online, and throughout he was such an integral part of the class. Allah bless him for all his good deeds and good works. May Allah give his family patience and sabr and steadfastness.
Ameen, ameen.
It's all in the straight path. Before we continue, Imam, you want to make any comments before we proceed with the class after our short break?
You have already made the comments. I mean, we express our gratitude and thanks to the family of our brother. Now we make dua for him, for their involvement and participation and assistance. Inshallah, going forward, we have secured, our family have decided to sponsor for the first year the Zoom class for us in terms of the account. So under the Jamaat heading, we'll be hosting it under the Jamaat heading now. And in the coming years, we'll seek sponsors for continuals, inshallah. So this shall be the account and the link to get in on board. And we hope to see everybody on time. So our time wouldn't run out and have to look at logging in back or temporary use of time and so on, inshallah.
All right, Jazakallah, Imam. Right. So we have 9 participants online here. Before we proceed, well, today, inshallah, we just want to, just do a quick recap of lesson 12, where we would have stopped before our break, in December. So we do a quick recap today, inshallah, and we want to start lesson 13 from, if not today, from next week, inshallah, we'll start lesson 13. And lesson 13 is a brief lesson, and is more or less a summary or a recap or a revision of some of the previous lessons. Okay, so it's a good summary and a good concise reminder for us going forward. All right. So before I start, anybody else have any comments to make? All right, so we'll go straight, if there are no comments or questions, we will go straight into the lesson number 12. just put it up here. I'm going to share my screen now as usual. So you can follow on screen or you can follow in your books. All right. Okay, who's disabled participant screen sharing? All right, so I don't know who is the controller for the host account, but they may have to enable me to share.
You're the host now, so you can
Okay.
able to share.
All right, let me try again. Share screen. All right, okay, yes. Right, are you all seeing now? Are you all seeing the screen?
Yes, so far, alhamdulillah.
Good. Okay, bismillah. الدرس الثانية عشرة. الدرس الثانية عشرة. Or the 12th lesson, the 12th lesson. So you all can say after me, inshallah. Again, we're going through this quickly because we would have gone through this before our break. So we're not going to spend too much time behind the breakdown unless you all have any questions. Please feel free to raise it and then we will go in more detail. Otherwise, we're just going to read it over as a refresher. All right? Bismillah. حامد ماذا تفعلين يا أم أحمد؟ أم أحمد أبحث عن الدواء الذي أخذته من المستشفى أمس. حامد هو على المكتب في غرفتي. كيف حالك اليوم؟ How do you know it's كيف حالك here? Because Ahmed is speaking to, Hamid is speaking to Ahmed, all right? So therefore, if you're speaking to female, you use the ki instead of ka, all right? So كيف حالك اليوم؟ لعلك اليوم أحسن. أحمد نعم أنا اليوم أحسن والحمد لله. حامد متى تذهبين إلى المستشفى؟ أحمد سأذهب بعد ساعة إن شاء الله. حامد مع من تذهبين؟ أحمد سأذهب مع أحمد. حامد أتعرفين الطبيبة التي ذهبت إليها أمس؟ أتعرفين, do you know الطبيبة, the doctor, التي الذي ذهبت, that you went إليها, to her, أمس, yesterday. Do you know the doctor that you went to yesterday? أحمد نعم نعم أعرفها اسمها الدكتورة سعاد يقولون إنها أحسن طبيبة في المستشفى. حامد ماذا تفعلون يا أبنائي؟ الأبناء نكتب الواجبات. حامد أتفهمون الدروس جيدا؟ Next page. الأبناء نعم نفهمها جيدا. نفهمها جيدا. والحمد لله. حامد أي سورة تحفظون الآن؟ أي سورة تحفظون الآن؟ أحمد أما أنا فأحفظ سورة الملك، وأما هؤلاء فيحفظون سورة القلم. حامد ماذا تفعلن أنتن يا بناتي؟ وماذا تفعلن أنتن يا بناتي؟ وماذا تفعلن أنتن يا بناتي؟ البنات نحن الآن نلعب. نحن الآن نلعب. If somebody asks a message, translation of the previous line. So, we'll go back a little bit, translation, right? So we have here. So the mother, Ahmad, said, yes, نعم أعرفها أينها. اسمها, her name is دكتورة سعاد. Her name is Dr. سعاد. يقولون they say إنها, verily she is أحسن طبيبة. She is the best doctor. في المستشفى, in, في means in, and al-mustashfa means the hospital. Okay, so they say she is the best doctor in the hospital. So Hamid then turns his attention to the children. So first he asks the boys, ماذا تفعلون يا أبنائي? What are you all doing, my sons? My sons. Remember the ya at the end indicates is my. Okay. Qalamun, a pen. Qalami, my pen. So the ya at the end indicates what? My. Right? First person speak. Possessive, right? So the first person speaking. First person is the person speaking, right? It's attributing that particular thing to them, the person speaking, right? So my sons. Okay, what are you all doing, my sons? So the sons replied, Al-Abana Naktubul wajibat. We are writing the wajibat, the homework. Okay, we are writing homework. So Hamid asks them, Atafhamuna durusa jayidan? Do you understand? Fahima means to understand. Fahima means to understand. Fa-ha mean. Fahima, to understand. Okay. From fahima, you have yafhamu. Then you have tafhamu. Yafhamu means he understands, present tense. Tafhamu means you understand, present tense. Okay. And tafhamuna means you, masculine, plural, you all understand. Okay. Then you have the question mark at the beginning. So ask a question, remember that? So tafhamuna, do you all understand? Durus, durus is plural of dars. Dars is lesson, durus is lessons. Okay. Atafhamuna durusa jayyidan. Do you understand the lessons very well? Al-abana, na'am. So the boys replied, na'am, yes. Nafhamuha. So you have again the same word, fahima. Fa-ha, mim, fahima. Then from, that's the past tense. The present tense will be what? Add the ya in front, you get what? Fahima. Dhahaba, yadhabu. Fahima, yafhamu. All right. So then you change the ya to ta if it's singular, masculine is speaking to. So from yafhamu, you get what? Tafhamu. Right? Then from tafhamu, you want to say we, you would say nafhamu. We understand. So the sons replied, Naam, nafhamuha. Yes, we understand them. The ha here refers to the lessons, the durus. Right? Remember when you have plural of ghayru aqil, things without sense, what do you use? You use the singular feminine to refer to it. All right, grammatically. So here you have nafhamuha, we understand them, meaning the lessons. Okay? Na'am, nafhamuha jayyidan. Yes, we understand it well. Walhamdulillah. And all praise is due to Allah. Hamid asked, Ayya suratin tahfaduna al-an? Ayya means which? Ayya. Ayya suratin. Which surah tahfaduna al-an? Are you memorizing right now, currently? Okay. So Ahmad replies, Amma ana, as for me, fa'ahfadhu, I am memorizing Surat al-Mulki. I am memorizing what? Surat al-Mulk. Wa amma ha'ula, but as for these, meaning the other boys, yahfadhuna, they are memorizing. So again, you have the root word, hafidha, ha, fa, and dha, hafidha. And that's the past tense. So the present tense, the other ya in front of it, you get what? Hafidha, what? Yahfadhu. Hafidha, yahfadhu. Right? So yahfadhu means he memorizes, present tense. Right? Yahfadhuna, and of course the plural is, so you have yahfadhu, he memorizes, and then you add the wow and the nun at the end to make it plural. They memorize, okay? فَيَحْفَظُونَ سُورَةَ الْقَلَمِ, and they are memorizing Surah Al-Qalam. Right? Hamid is asking, وَمَاذَا تَفْعَلْنَا أَنْتُنَّ يَا بَنَاتِ, and what are you all doing, my daughters. Banat is daughter, daughters, and banati, my daughters. Okay? So we have here the word fa'ala yaf'alu. Fa'ala yaf'alu means to do. And that's how we get the word fa'al. Fa'al means a verb, all right? Or a action, right? So to do something is an action. So you get the word fa'ala yaf'alu, all right? So from fa'ala yaf'alu, you have what? The ya change to ta. Fifth second person, taf'alu, right? Now the second person, feminine plural, it is what? Taf'alna. Taf'alna. So he's speaking to a group of girls. He says, وَمَاذَا تَفْعَلْنَا? What are you all doing? Antunna. And then this is to emphasize it. He add on the further pronoun. He didn't need to. So if you left out the antunna, it would have the same, it would still be a valid question. وَمَاذَا تَفْعَلْنَا يَا بَنَاتِي? What are you all doing, my daughters? But when you add the pronoun here, antunna, it is a form of emphasis, all right? It's like, okay, the teacher is in the class, and the teacher comes in the class, and sees a group of children here, group of children there, group of children there. So he comes and he speaks to the first group. What are you all doing? Then checks the second group. What are you all doing? And the third group, you say, what are you doing? So he could use his intonation and his voice to emphasize, okay, check all there, and now I come to check all there to see what is this group doing now, okay, as a form of emphasis, right? So in Arabic, we can add the pronoun, extra pronoun here for emphasis to show, okay, check the boys, now we're checking the girls, right? So he's saying, وَمَاذَا تَفْعَلْنَا أَنْتُنَّ يَا بَنَاتِي. Now, if you look at the next line, so what does this line mean? وَمَاذَا تَفْعَلْنَا أَنْتُنَّ يَا بَنَاتِي. What are you all doing? My daughters, right? And they, what is their reply? Al-banatu nahnu al-ana nal'abu. We are now playing. We are now playing. So this could be another reason why the father uses the pronoun antunna. Why? Because come and you see the daughters playing. Right? So the boys are doing work and the daughters are playing. So this is a form of rebuke. So what are you doing? What are you all doing here? Right? So in English, we can use our intonation and our voice, but in Arabic, we can add this extra pronoun as a form of minor rebuke. So what's going on here? You know, you come and see children playing, like, okay, what's going on here? Kind of way. All right? So he's asking them, وَمَاذَا تَفْعَلْنَا أَنْتُنَّ يَا بَنَاتِي. What are you all doing, my daughters? So the daughter said, نَحْنُ الْآنَ نَلْعَبُ. We are now playing. Hamid is a little bit concerned. He's saying, أَفِي وَقْتِ الْعَمَلِ تَلْعَبْنَ. So the question is, starts with okay? Is it in, fi means in, waqtil amali, is it in the time for work or work time? Tal'abna, you all are playing. So he wants to know what's going on, right? Mata taqra'na. So he's asking again, Mata تقرأن الدروس ومتى تكتبن الواجبات. When will you read your lesson and when will you write your homework? Right? So he sketches them playing. So the banat says, Al-banat نحن قرأنا الدروس. We read. Notice here we have the past tense verb, right? Qara'a means he read. Qara'na means we read, past tense. Okay? So it past tense means what? It's completed. The action is done already. Okay? So we have نحن قرأنا الدروس. We read the lessons. وكتبنا, and we wrote الواجبات, and we wrote the homework. Walhamdulillah, and all praises due to Allah. Hamid says now, Ahsantunna ya banati. Very good or excellent, my daughters. Hakada, it is like this. Taf'alu at-tilmidatu al-mujtahidatu. It is like this, the hardworking students do, right? متى تذهبن لزيارة خالاتكن? When are you all going to visit your aunt? Okay, your aunt. This is the mother's sister. The khalatun is the maternal aunt. Okay. So we have here, he asking, after he compliment them on finishing their homework, he asking them, when are you going to visit your aunt? أتعرفن أنها مريضة? Do you all know that she is sick? أتعرفن? Do you all know أنها, that she مريضة is sick? Do you all know that she is sick? البنات نعم نعرف ذلك. نعم نعرف ذلك. Yes, we know that. شفاها الله. Look at this construction here. شفاها الله. Look at it carefully. شفاها الله. Right? So you know the word shifa means a cure. Then you have shafa means cure or to cure, right? Ha means her in this case, and Allahu is Allah, Lafzul Jalal. So when you say shafaha Allahu, may Allah cure her. Right? Now be careful here. This pronoun here, ha, it of course would change depending on who you're referring to. So if you're speaking directly to somebody, you would say what? Shafaka, if it's masculine, singular. Shafaka Allahu. So you say Shafaka Allahu. If it's female, you're speaking to, you say Shafaki Allah. Right? You say Shafakillah. Shafaki. And then of course the Allah would change to la. Right? Shafakillah. May Allah cure you if it's speaking to female. Right? If it's plural, masculine, you say shafakumul, shafakumullah. May Allah cure you all. Right? Well, if you're talking about somebody else who's absent, you say shafahu Allahu. May Allah cure him, singular. Okay? And here we have she. So we have shafaha Allahu. Now, when you join it together, notice the aleph. I want you all to watch this carefully. Right? The aleph in the ha, it becomes silent because it went straight from the ha to the word Allah. All right, so you're saying shafahallahu, shafahallahu. Okay, may Allah give a cure.
The word shafa, what part of the speech is that?
It is a verb. The verb. It's a past tense verb. So you see, it's a dua, but it's using the past tense. It's not using the imperative form. Right? And there are other duas of the Prophet ﷺ where he used the imperative form. Where he said, أذهب البأس رب الناس واشفي أنت شافي لا شفاء إلا شفاؤك. This one is using the imperative or the command form, right? Adhib al-ba'sa rabban nas. Remove this ba's or this disease, Lord of mankind. Washfi. So the washfi is wa, which means and then you have ishfi, which is the command or the imperative, right? So you would say, you see, using command form or the imperative to make a dua. I think we mentioned it before that there are three uses for the imperative, and it depends on who is speaking and the person who is being spoken to. In the case of us speaking to Allah, it's the last form where we are lower and Allah is higher. So therefore, it is not a command or an invitation, but rather it is a beseechment. You're beseeching Allah, you're asking, you're begging Allah for these things. So when we use the imperative form in the dua, it is really a form of beseechment or begging to Allah. Right? So in this particular case, shafa, it is the past tense for the verb. Right? So literally means Allah has cured her. That's the literal meaning. Right? Allah has cured her, but that is not what is meant here. It is meant, may Allah cure her. Right? So it's like a dua for her cure from Allah. Okay? The next part, سنذهب لزيارتها هذا المساء. Right? سنذهب. So we see here, of course, we mentioned this last time, where we have the scene being joined onto the present tense verb to indicate what? Something in the future. Okay. So we have the verb dhahaba, which means to go. Then the present tense will be what? Yadhabu. So dhahaba, yadhabu. Right? And then the first person plural, you have nadhabu. So the girls are saying, we are going, or we will go. So you add the scene onto that, you get sa nadhabu. We will go. لزيارتها, to visit her, هذا المساء, this afternoon or this evening. Inshallah, if Allah wills. Hamidun, ya Ahmadu. Sorry, ya Ahmad. Yeah, ya Ahmada. Ya Ahmadu. Sorry, ya Ahmadu. Ata'arifu mata yarji'u al-jiranu min Makkah. Ya Ahmadu. Ata'arifu mata yarji'u al-jiranu min Makkah. So Hamid is asking Ahmad, do you know Ata'arifu? Do you know? So we have Arafa Ya'rifu. Arafa Ya'rifu Ta'rifu. Right? Arafa means to know. To know. Okay? So Arafa, he knew, past tense. Ya'rifu, he knows. Ta'rifu, you know. So you're asking the question, Ata'arifu, do you know? Ata'arifu Mata yarji'u, when yarji'u, he will return. Al-jiran, the neighbor, right? Sorry, the neighbors, min Makkah, from Makkah, right? Ahmad replies, Qala li Yusufu. Yusuf said to me, Innana, verily we, sanarji'u, raja'a, yarji'u, narji'u, we will return fil usbu' al-qadimi, in the coming week. Verily we will return in the coming week. Right? Adhunnu annahum, I think that they sayarji'una, they will return yawm as-sabti, inshallah, I think they will return on Saturday, inshallah. Right? Any other questions on this?
One place there's Masa and also high up, I think there's Masa in it. What's the difference there?
Right. Masa. So right, so you're talking about this here. Al-Masa'a. And then it says Masa. Masa'in. Tanween Kasra. That's it. Which one is?
Amsi. Amsi.
Oh, Amsi. All right, okay. Yeah. So you have here, well, Ams means yesterday, right?
Why is it Kesha?
Right. So the Ams, I think this word is Mabni. So you see Amsi. I'll have to check it back, but I believe it is always Kestra. So some words are like that. Amsi. I'll check it back and see. All right. And the Masa is Masa. I'm not sure. I'll have to check and see why. Right? I'll have to break down the sentence. I'll get back to you now, inshallah. Right?
Last question. There's a place with adurusa in a sentence, durusa ending in fatha, and wajibati ending in kesha.
Right.
Can you explain the difference in the endings?
Right. So right. So we're talking about here. أفي وقت العمل تلعبنا متى تقرأنا الدروس ومتى تكتبنا الواجبات. All right, so here both of them are maf'ul bihi. Maf'ul bihi means that they are object, right? They are object, or the thing that the action is taking place on. Okay, so qara'a yaqra'u, to read. What is being read? The durus. So therefore it is the object of the sentence. And we know the object of the sentence, right, is in the case of nasb, right, which is the accusative case. And we know generally speaking, that words in the case of nasb, they end with the last letter takes a fatha. All right, generally speaking. Of course, we know there are exceptions, right? So that's why durusa, it takes a fatha. Okay, and wajibat, it is a word that is similar to sound feminine plural, right? So we know sound feminine plural words, they take kasra in cases of nasb and jar. The kasra for what? In case of nasb and jar, sound feminine plural words. Okay. In this case, we have a word which refers to the wajibat, but it is similar to. So they have a category of words, may not be strictly fall under the category of sound feminine plural, but they look like sound feminine plural in terms of there's an aleph and a ta maftuha at the end. All right, so therefore they take the same ruling as the sound feminine plural, which is they don't take any fatha when it's accusative, but rather they take the kasra. So it is accusative, just like adurus, right? Because this is what is being written, right? Taktubna al-wajibat. But because it is, what do you call mutlaq? It's mutlaq. It's just like the sound feminine plural. So that's why it takes the kasra. Right? Good question, Shana. Any other questions? Alhamdulillah, brother Camille had a good question. He sent in the WhatsApp group a few weeks back. And you know, it's good to analyze these things, especially when you're memorizing Quran, when you're reading Quran, because these small differences sometimes when you're reading, you tend to, you know, or when you're reciting from memory, sometimes you tend to jump from one to the next. But if you understand the Arabic grammar, and you understand how it is applied because of the situation in the verse, then that'll help us to, you know, in our recitation, also in our understanding of the verse, inshallah. I think that was also a question based on some feminine plural words. All right, so any other questions? It's 9 o'clock now, so we're going to go through some of the exercises. All right, and inshallah, we'll close up at 9:15. All right, so the first exercise, Sahih ma yali, to correct what follows. So we have some statements and we have to see it's correct. If it's not correct, we have to say the correct thing. So what do we have here? تبحث أم أحمد عن المفاتيح مفتاح عن المفتاح. Right, so Ahmad, the mother of Ahmad, is searching for the keys. هذا صحيح وليس صحيح. All of the answers in the passage, right?
ليس صحيح غير صحيح.
صحيح. No. وماذا صحيح؟ وما هو صحيح؟
تبحث عن الدواء.
نعم، تبحث عن الدواء. نعم, she is searching for the medication. الاثنين, ستذهب أم أحمد إلى المستشفى مع زوجها. Ahmad is going to the hospital with her spouse or with her husband. هذا ليس صحيح. So what is the correct thing?
مع أحمد.
نعم, مع أحمد. Right? ستذهب أم أحمد إلى المستشفى مع أحمد. نعم. So why do we say Ahmada? Right? Here. After Ma'a. So look at this. There are a couple things you have to remember. One, the word Ma'a or the particle Ma'a means with or together with. It is a harf jar. It makes what comes after it in the case of jar or in the genitive case. Okay? Genitive case. So we know words in the genitive case would be right. So words that come after the ma'a or genitive harf jar, sorry, right, would be in the case of jar or genitive, right? And generally, words that are in the case of jar or genitive would carry a kasra on the last letter, okay? But in this case, the word Ahmad, it is one of those words which are mamnu' min as-sarf. Mamnu' min as-sarf means does not take a kasra when it is in a genitive case. So the sign of it being in the genitive case is the fatha, right? So that's why we don't say Ummu Ahmadi, we say Ummu Ahmada. Okay? If it was some other word here beside Ahmad, if it was Muhammad, we would say Ummu Muhammadin. Ummu Muhammadin. Okay? But because the word Ahmad is mamnu min as-sarf, cannot take kasra, cannot take tanween, you say Ummu Ahmada. One fatha. Similarly, if you say Ma'a, we would say Ma'a Ahmada, because Ma'a makes the word after it in the case of Jar, and Ahmad, it is a word that is mamnu min as-sarf, therefore cannot take the kasra, but it takes the fatha instead. Okay? Next one, ثلاثة. أم أحمد لا يعرف الدكتورة سعاد. Right? So Ahmad does not know Dr. Suad. هذا ليس صحيح. So we just change it. Just take out the la from that and we get the correct thing, right? So we would say أحمد تعرف دكتورة سعاد. That Ahmad knows Dr. Suad. So take out the la from there, okay? Next one. أحمد يحفظ سورة القلم وإخوته يحفظون سورة الملك. هذا ليس صحيح. It's the opposite, okay? So you have here أحمد يحفظ سورة الملك وإخوته يحفظون سورة القلم. All right? Last one, جيران حامد ذهبوا إلى الرياض. So the neighbors of Hamid went to الرياض. هذا ليس صحيح. أين ذهبوا جيران حامد؟ ذهبوا إلى مكة. We went to Makkah. Right? All right, so the next one, رقم 2. أنث الفاعل فاعلة. أنث الفاعلة في كل من الجمل الآتية. To make the fa'il feminine in the following sentences. So we have a sentence, then we have to change it to the feminine form. Okay? So say after me. أتعرف اللغة العربية يا أخي؟ أتعرفين اللغة العربية يا أختي؟ Right, so you see the difference here, right? So you're changing أتعرف to أتعرفين. So let's see the second one. ماذا تأكل يا محمد؟ So you're changing the person who's being addressed or spoken to from masculine to feminine. And because you're changing that, you have to correct the sentence in terms of the verb, change it into a feminine verb. Okay? So here you have masculine verb, akala, yakulu, ta'kulu. Right? You have ta'kulu, you eat. Masculine, singular, you. All right? So you're changing that to feminine now. So how you change it to feminine? Just follow the pattern you have above, right? So what do we have?
تأكلين.
نعم. تأكلين. تأكلين. So you have أكل يأكل تأكل تأكلون تأكلين. Right? So let me just write it out here so you can see what is happening here. We have the verb. Let's go back to what we have above, right? Ein, ra, fa. Arafa, past tense, which means to know, right? Then in present tense, we add a what in front of it? Yeah. Yeah. Rifu. Right? Arafa, yeah, rifu. Yeah, rifu. He knows present tense. Okay? So from ya'rifu, you get what? Ta'rifu. So the ya changed to ta. You get ta'rifu. Ta'rifu. Ta, ain, ra, fa. Ta'rifu. You know. Masculine singular. Right? Then from masculine singular, we add what? We just add the wow and the noon. Let's see the wow here. Oh, that's always video. تعريف تعرفون تعرفون. So you have عرف يعرف تعرف تعرفون. This is you, masculine plural. Right? Now do that, we change it into feminine. So you have what? You have here ta, ain, ra, fa, ya, ru. Right? Ta, ri, fi, na. So here you have the ta added on the beginning. You have the root letters, which is the ain, the ra, and the fa. And then you have the ya and the noon added. The ya and the noon added at the end. Right? So this is the letters added at the beginning, the ta. Then you have the ya and the noon added at the end. Ta'rifina. This ya and noon is added for the feminine second person verb. Feminine what? Second person. So you're speaking to someone, female person, you use the ina. Right? Ta'rifina. Right? Ta'kulina. And so on. Right? So we have here, Mada ta'kulu ya Muhammad. What are you eating, O Muhammad? So we change that from Muhammad to, let's say, Su'ad or Aisha or Fatima. So you say, Ya Fatimatu, Mada ta'kulina. Ta'kulina. So the difference is what? You put the kasra below the last letter, you add the ya and the noon with the fatha. All right? But be careful, this is not the dual. This is not dual. This is second person feminine singular. Okay? Ta'kulina. Let's try the next one. Aina tajlisu fil fasli ya Ahmada. Ya Ahmadu, sorry, ya Ahmadu. Aina tajlisu fil fasli ya Ahmadu. Where are you sitting in the classroom, O Ahmad? So we change it from Ahmad to Khadijatu. So you would say Aina tajlisina fil fasli ya Khadijatu. Where are you sitting in the classroom, O Khadija? So the same pattern applies. All of these is basically the same pattern, right? All you're doing, keeping the word, the verb, and you're adding a ya and a noon at the end. So from ta'rifu, you get ta'rifina. Ta'kulu, ta'kulina. Tajlisu, tajlisina. Right? Next one. Mata tadhhabu ila al-mustashfa ya abi. Where are you going to? When are you going to the hospital? Oh, my father. So you would say, Mata tadhhabina ila al-mustashfa ya ummi. Instead of abi, you may change it to feminine. So you say, ummi. Oh, my mother. Right? So instead of tadhhabu, you get what? Tadhhabina. Tadhhabina. This is the first line in the exercise, in the lesson, right? Where Hamid is asking, Ummu Ahmed, where are you? What are you looking for? Right? ماذا تقول يا أخي? So you have the word قال يقول تقول. So you get here, instead of تقول, you get تقولين. تقولين. Right? So the others are similar. Please attempt them for homework. These are the questions here. Right? Al-Wajibat. Next exercise here. أنث الفاعل. أنث الفاعل في كل من جمل الآتية. So a similar thing here, where now we're changing from masculine plural to feminine plural. All right, so the other one we were dealing with what? Masculine, second person masculine singular to second person feminine singular. That was the exercise before. This one we were now doing here, right? So second person masculine singular to second person feminine singular. Okay. Here we are dealing with second person masculine plural to second person feminine plural. Right? So it's a similar exercise. Let's look at a couple of them. Aina tadhhabuna ya ikhwan. Aina tadhhabuna ya ikhwan. Where are you going, oh brothers? Change it to female. Aina tadhhabna ya akhawat. Second one. Aina taskununa ya rijal. Aina taskununa ya rijal. Where are you living, oh men? See, change it to feminine and say Aina taskununa. Right.
Taskunabna.
Taskunna. Aina taskunna. Right? Ya Nisa. Right? Next one is القاهرة القاهرة تشربون أم الشاي يا إخوان. So you have here, is it coffee you are drinking or tea يا إخوان? Right? Now this, remember we spoke about the double hamza, right? So inshallah we would, it's already 18 minutes past 9. So we'll stop here and we will go into this a little more next week, inshallah. So, but you all can attempt the rest of number 3, Rakam Thalatha, and Rakam 9, as we were just doing, inshallah. And next week we'll continue with the balance of the exercises and begin exercise lesson 13, inshallah. Inshallah, lesson 13, as I said, is a good summary and will help us to, see a little more structure to what we are doing here in terms of the conjugation of the verbs between masculine and feminine and so on. Any questions before we close off? All right, so we close off, inshallah. Continue next week. Barakallahu feekum. May Allah bless you all and keep us all safe. Inshallah, please attempt the questions. Try to read over the passage. Reading is really, really important in keeping the language fresh in our minds and helping us to understand it better. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات تواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.